My name is Ethan. This story happened in October of 2016 when four of my friends and I took a weekend hiking trip up in northern New Hampshire, more specifically the White Mountains. We were all college students at a fairly local university, which if you're from or familiar with New Hampshire, you know how beautiful the mountains are in the fall. It was me, Kyle, Danielle, Mason, and Jake. All being students in New Hampshire, we're all pretty experienced with trails. Nothing insane, but enough that we'd seen our fair share in the woods prior. We picked a bit as popular trail to avoid the foliage tourists planning to camp about halfway up and finish by late Sunday. The first day was completely normal. Cold, crisp air, quiet even. We made camp that night without any issue. We built a fire just off the trail. Cooked, had a few beers, and went to bed in our two tents, guys in one, Danielle in the other. That's when everything truly started. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to what I thought were footsteps. Not like heavy stomping or anything, but soft, slow crunches in the leaves, just outside the tent. But then it stopped, and stayed quiet for way too long. I held my breath, trying to listen. Then Mason, who was next to me, whispered, "You hear that too?" I said yeah, and we both just stayed frozen. Then a twig snapped. Not random, this sounded deliberate, like someone stepping right outside the tent. Kyle, half asleep, mumbled, "Chill, it's probably an animal." But it didn't feel like that. The next morning, I asked Danielle if she heard anything. She looked at me weirdly saying, "I thought that was one of you walking around." That definitely creeped me out. We searched the area, just some disheveled leaves. We kept hiking that day. That's when Kyle stopped and said, "Yo, you see that?" We all looked ahead. I swear to God, standing maybe 60 feet off the trail, deep in the trees was someone, just barely visible, wearing something dark, not moving. Jake waved and yelled hello over trying to be friendly. Whoever or whatever it was didn't respond. It didn't even flinch. Then they just walked away, not down the trail, into the woods, barely making a sound. Mason said it was likely another hiker, but it didn't feel right. No gear, no pack, just still, watching. We were all freaked, but Mason. We should have turned around right then, but we didn't. That night, we set up camp again. Around midnight, I woke up to rustling. Not footsteps this time, running, like something darting back and forth through the brush. Kyle slightly unzipped the tent and peeked out, just barely. I'll never forget his voice when he whispered, "Dude, there's someone out there." He waved me over, and when I looked, I caught a glimpse of something just slipping behind a tree. It was a face, just a face, but pulled back like it was hiding, and high up, really high up. This thing had to be extremely tall, and not exaggerating, at least 6 feet 6 inches. What the hell? I was praying this was a dream. Then, Danielle started yelling from her tent. I think my heart dropped. We ran over to Danielle. She was in her tent holding bear spray, crying to herself. We comforted her and brought her over to our tent. We sat up all night, taking turns watching. As soon as sunlight hit, we packed up fast. The worst part was on the hike out. We were probably less than a mile from the trailhead when we realized Jake wasn't with us. Why the hell would he be taking photos? He knew what was out there. 10 minutes turned into 30. Then an hour. We called search and rescue. They combed the area for days. Drones, dogs, helicopters. Nothing. It's nearly a decade later. Jake is still missing. They ruled it an unsolved disappearance. Likely a black bear. But here's the part one haven't told anyone. A week later, I got an airdrop request on my phone while I was home. It said, "Jake's iPhone." The image that came through was pitch black. But when I brightened it, there was something. Long limbs, a face that looked directly in the camera, and a smile stretched wider than physically possible. It was taken out in those trees. The timestamp? 3:11 a.m., the night after Jake disappeared. I don't know what we saw out there. I own a home now. I still hear things in the woods behind my house. I haven't spoken to the group much, except for Danielle. She claims to still hear and see things. If we're not going insane, we're being stalked, and something tells me it doesn't plan on stopping. I don't know if Jake is dead, but I swear sometimes the noises I hear in the woods behind my home is his voice, calling out to me, telling me to come to him. If you're hiking in New Hampshire, don't go off trail. And don't ignore that feeling when you're being watched. Because I don't know what, but something or someone is out there, and it took Jake. I don't know what's still out there. Subscribe and help me warn the others.